Welcome to a taste of Shavuot. On behalf of myself, I want to wish all Torah Anytime listeners and the Jewish world generally a beautiful Yontif. As the world is opening up slowly, may our hearts open up also to Hashem and to Torah, so that we should all be able to be together soon, ki ish echad b'lev echad, in Yerushalayim habenuya. Amen. Shavuot is the unsung holiday of the Jewish people. It's not even mentioned as an association with Kabbalas HaTorah directly. It says, Chag Shavuot Seichem, that you're going to count 49 days and then there'll be Shavuos. We know that what takes place in Parshas Yisro takes place on the 6th of Sivan, or 7th. It's shrouded in mystery. It's so shrouded in mystery that there was a Jewish attorney here in Cherry Hill who passed away, who would tell the story that when he called the Jewish judge and said that he needed to adjourn a case because it was a Jewish holiday of Shavuos, the Jewish judge said there's no such holiday. And that's for those that are not in the know. But even for those of us that are in the know, that we do learn Torah, that we do keep mitzvos, that we are aware, what is the avoda on Shavuos? I'm standing outside in beautiful greenery, reminding us of how Har Sinai was also filled with lush green. Are we supposed to stand in green scenery on Shavuos? Yes. When we're allowed to in shuls, people put greenery and or in their homes. But what's our avoda? What's the mitzvah? There's no lulav, there's no esrog, there's no shofar, there's no matzah, there's no Megillah, there's no Chanukah licht. What is the service, and what are we supposed to be aiming towards on this most holy day of Shavuos? So we're all familiar with the Gemara in Shabbos that says, Kafa olei en har kigigis, that Hashem went ahead and arched the mountain over the backs and over the fronts and over the entire Jewish people, and in a sense compelled them to take the Torah. However, we also know that it states in Chazal that Hashem went to many other nations and He asked them, would you like the Torah? Why didn't He arch the mountain over them as well? Number two, we know that each one of these other nations asked Maksiv Ba, what's in it? Esav says, no murder? What am I supposed to do with myself? Ishmael says, you're not allowed to steal, to kidnap? What do I need it for? That's how I make a living. And so the kasha is asked twofold. Number one, why didn't they accept it anyway? There's enough, they could have been 612 Jews and worked their way towards 613. Just because they had a problem with one of the mitzvahs, so what? When a person comes into Or Sameach or Eish Torah or any shul, do we say accept the entire Torah? Or do we give them a beautiful Shabbos meal and say, isn't this geschmack? And have them take it on slowly and healthfully. So why is it that the other nations didn't want to accept the Torah, even if they had a problem with that one prohibition? And the final question, which has bothered me for years, and I believe the Or Gedaliah of Gedaliah Shor brings down, is that the other nations are mechuyev. They were already obligated in these mitzvos because they were part of the Sheva mitzvahs b'nei Noach. You're not allowed to kill, you're not allowed to murder already. Non-Jews also not allowed to murder, not allowed to kidnap, or to break society, to steal. So why is it that Hashem didn't arch the mountain over their back? Why didn't they accept it anyway? And didn't they realize they were already obligated? The answer to all three questions is that they didn't want it. The difference between the Yiddish neshama at Har Sinai and every other one was that the Yidden had a tshukah with Torah. Jews have a deep and loving desire for truth of Torah. There's a great Maisa. Maisa is of a Rav who wanted to find a shidduch for his daughter. So he went to the greatest yeshiva of the day, and he asked permission, and he clapped on the bima. He says, I'm going to ask you a kasha. And whoever answers the kasha sufficiently, I will give my daughter as a bride. And he asked this super intense, difficult question, and many came to try to answer. But 24 hours passed, and 48 hours passed, and no one was able to give a good answer. And so despondent, the Rav chose that it was time to leave the yeshiva. And he got into his horse and buggy, and he started to go away until there was a bacher who came out of the yeshiva, who came running down the street with all his heart saying, Rabbi, wait, wait, wait. And he turned around with a glistening in his eye, and he said to the bacher, do you have an answer to my kasha? The bacher says, no. He says, but I need to know the answer. Could you at least tell me the answer? I won't be able to go on without the answer. The Rav says, you're going to be my son-in-law. You're going to be my Eidim. Hashem looked at the rest of the world, and they didn't have the tshukah. They didn't follow. They didn't say Na'aseh v'nishma. The Jewish people looked up with all their heart and said, we want the answer. So Hashem put the mountain on their head to make sure that it would take place. As we go into this great and grand holiday of Shavuot, that is the elixir of life. Without Shavuot, we have nothing. Without Torah, we wouldn't be here. Kihem chayenu v'yorech yameinu. It is our life and the days of our living. Atem advekim b'Shem Elokeichem. You who cling to God are going to remain alive forever. You're alive today. Our task is tshukah l'Torah. Sit down and embrace the Torah with all your heart on this great holiday of Yom Tov, for that is our responsibility. Wishing a good Yom Tov to all from Cherry Hill.